Hi, I'm Mindy Winkler, and just to give you a little background about myself, I grew up in a small suburban town outside of Indianapolis, and my blue-collar family. My parents got married out of need because I was coming, basically, and have stayed together, though, despite all the odds, and I was very well provided for. My family were very close, but at the same time, because of that, they had only been together for a short time before they had to get married. There's, of course, been some dysfunction as I was growing up, and I've always been a performer. From the age of 2, I think it was just instilled for me from birth even, that I wanted to sing and dance, perform, be in front of people, and I was, always like that. And so at the same time, my father instilled something into my brother and I that we had to be the best at everything. Second place was the first loser from his perspective. Well, in some ways that was good because I did end up winning most things. Any contest, I was always the star athlete. I was a captain of the cheerleading squad, all those kind of good things. But at the same time, that starts to wear on you. And no one can be perfect all the time. So that insecurity was still there. And what made it even worse was the first time that I made cheerleading in 7th grade, I literally had someone walk up to me and say, "You're a cheerleader? I thought cheerleaders are supposed to be pretty." That still resonates with me today, and that was like 30-some years ago. So because of that, it almost became a self-fulfilling prophecy. I dropped out of some of the other sports I was involved in, focused more on my singing career all through high school and my academics. I graduated 10th out of my class out of 460. I went on to get my bachelor's and master's at Ball State here in Muncie, Indiana. And during that time, though, I had my first love in college. Thought he was the man I was going to marry. Lost my virginity to him, actually. And we were together for 5.5 years. Didn't work out. Basically, it came down to my insecurities and my neediness led to him taking advantage and lying and mistreating me, and thus, I became more of a victim. I hate to say that, but because I know I enabled it. But that's basically what happened, and I've unfortunately continued that in relationships since. I did get married, and that actually was a good marriage. My ex-husband and I were very compatible. We just kind of grew apart as time went on, and we had a wonderful son. He's now 9. And during that time, I got to do some really cool things. It was an Indianapolis Twisters soccer cheerleader, this indoor soccer team. Then I became an Indianapolis Colts cheerleader for a couple years. That then, while I was actually working for a technology company. Yes, I'm a smart girl. Don't let the blonde fool you. So from that, it launched me into a career back in front of the camera, which is what my undergrad was broadcasting. And I became what was called the Kids Club host in between the cartoons and one of the stations in the area. Did that for a couple years. Unfortunately, another station bought it out and that ended. I would have done that forever. But that launched me to another career because I had television experience to become a traffic reporter. That in itself was the job that I was doing prior to becoming a spy girl. And that I did for many years. It kind of made me a household name in the central Indiana area, fortunately, which has led me to hosting many events. I still do lots of voiceover work. I have Mindy's Mixers with Lisa Murdoch. I have a television show that I host that's local around here. So I still keep active, but Spy Girls became a passion for me because, unfortunately, my now ex-husband and I, it threw me back into the single world. And as a, woman in her late 30s, early 40s, it's quite difficult. And started dating and found that I actually was getting cheated on by the person I'd fallen in love with. Thought this was the man that I was going to marry next. And one of those situations where now that all those insecurities were coming back within this relationship. And I kind of see myself, through high school, I wasn't that attractive, didn't really think about my appearance. Well, once I obviously completely changed when I became a Colts cheerleader, I literally learned how to get back in shape, changed my total appearance, kind of, wouldn't say became an ugly duckling into a swan, but more like a wine that I got better with age. So, but deep inside is still that insecure girl. And that showed up in my relationship, and thus this person was able to use that to their advantage, and it kind of pushed them away so that they felt that they could cheat. And no one wants to be cheated on. So I actually started doing some research, and I actually used my technology background from my master's to find out what they were doing. I don't want anybody else, to have to deal with this, which is why I got involved by Spy Girls at the time anyway. But at the same time,